Ratatouille the video game, where to begin? Some movie tie-in games are irredeemable garbage, and some are fantastic, fun games. Ratatouille is the most up and down roller coaster of emotions. One minute you'll be charmed by what is another high-production THQ Pixar video game. The next minute you'll want to throw the controller at a wall in the hopes it'll bounce back into your skull and force the session to end. This is the Ratatouille tie-in video game.
Cause we gotta get those charms collected before her nap time's over.
Why?
There's charms to be collected, boys, so get moving.
Why?
There are 25 charms scattered around the farm, and we need to collect at least 20 of them to continue. As we collect these, the game also teaches us all of the important mechanics and controls. This includes running around, clinging onto climbable surfaces, picking up objects and putting them down, using our tail whip to stun enemies and interact with objects in the game world, and this mechanic where you press B above some objects to balance on them before hopping to the next one. There's chilies scattered around the game world, which we can use as bombs by planting them and starting their countdown with a tail whip. Of course, once I learned this, the first thing I did was try to find out if I could use them to blow one of our fellow rats to smithereens, and to my surprise, this had the opposite effect, turning the one rat into two. Another important game mechanic is rolling on top of these balls to squish bugs, which the rats call enemies.
Get rid of enemies?
I know it's just because the dialogue was written for the tutorial of a video game, but there's something I find funny about them casually using enemies as a word in that context. After collecting the 20 charms, Remy explains that he wants to steal this cookbook that's conveniently wedged in the window. Of course, this wakes the old lady, and now we've got a chase scene as she fires at us with a shotgun. The chase is pretty fun, trying to react to things in front of you, staying on the wood as much as possible to run fast enough to keep ahead of her. Remy doesn't seem to give too much of a about the tragedy of his family being ran out of their home due to his actions.
Boom, baby!
Sure, your entire family's now homeless, but here's a new health container.
Hooray!
We arrive in Paris at the back doors of Gusteau's restaurant, chasing his ghost. I gotta give credit where it's due, a lot of effort definitely went into the game's environments. They look great and they capture the feeling of being a small rat in a big world. The next section of the game is fairly unnoteworthy. We sneak around the kitchen, adding ingredients without being seen to try and improve the food quality. We climb up here to drop a flower pot to scare a dog so it'll run away. And we use chili bombs to blow up boxes in the gutter because, I don't know, I'm sure there's a perfectly good reason why we're doing all of this shit. But to be honest, that reason isn't clear to me. Remy often says he's doing it for the colony.
I'm doing this for the colony. Yeah, that's it.
But often, how any of this actually benefits the colony is incredibly unclear. Like this one, where we're told there's a coin in a bird's nest, so now we gotta go up and grab the coin and throw it down a pipe. Why? Who the knows? The game takes an odd left turn, teleporting us to this abstract rotating wooden cheese thing with stars to collect as the time counts down. Congratulations, you have collected some chocolate. I wonder what the implications of this will be. I wonder if this even exists in the game, or if the moment I press A to move on, I'll never hear of this chocolate again. I know I sound a bit negative, but until this point, honestly, I was charmed. The game is packed with character, the environments are impressive, and despite how pointless all of these tasks felt, I was having enough fun doing them. Sadly, this changed when I reached one of the most infuriating chunks of gameplay I've played in a long time. So the game places us in this environment with 4 tasks to complete. We have to take the gramophone handle up here to start the gramophone. We have to go up here so Emil can jump down a pipe to dislodge the coin. Why I need to be there to watch him jump down it, who the knows? We have to go here to turn on the faucet, and then go over here to signal that all the tasks are done. If we die at any stage of this level, it starts from the beginning. There are no checkpoints here. It would be one thing to make this random level in the Ratatouille game challenging, but the real issue is so much of it is so unreliable that every single time it feels like the game's fault that you have to restart. Oh, the slightly clunky controls and camera send you falling from a height? Bad luck, start again. How about this ridiculous box ledge you have to jump up to? At first, I assumed this wasn't actually an accessible area because I tried repeatedly to go there, but the game clearly wouldn't let me, only to later discover that's where we're meant to go, but the edge of this box just doesn't work 80% of the time for no clear reason at all. Every time you restart all of these tasks because of some bullshit, it just builds the tension in your head having to go through this clunky crap again. One time I brought the gramophone handle up to the area and it just didn't work. Oh, the umbrella just fell out of Remy's hands when you jumped off the ledge. Bad luck, start again. Now add to this the fact that Gusto won't shut the up the entire time. He repeats the same handful of lines so frequently that there will often be two Gustos talking over one another.
You can use the rat ball to get over dangerous
water
areas.
faucet.
Allez! Shut up! Shut up! Shut!
So after 50 minutes of this intolerable tripe, we get another chase. This time it's Linguini. I don't know if it's just because I was so desperate for anything that felt remotely like fun, but the chase was a relieving, life-affirming change from the disaster that was the previous level. We get this cute cutscene between Remy and Linguini as they agree to be colleagues before unlocking the next area, the kitchen. Even though we were in the kitchen before during this bit, look, I don't know, who gives a shit? In the kitchen, we do a lot more of the same sort of gameplay, completing tasks for the good of the colony. These tasks are a lot less broken than the previous one, and as a result, they were much less painful to get through. That said, the game still has a couple of glaring issues that frustratingly could have been very easily fixed. First, we're in desperate need of a respawn from previous checkpoint button, because so much of it is happening in high places elevated off the ground, and if we fall to the floor either due to a player mistake or the game being a bit clunky, it can take so long to get back to where we were. It's no fun missing one jump and then having to go back and retrace the same climb back up to the top time after time. So the best solution is to just go and try to find the quickest way to kill Remy, forcing the game to respawn us.
Kill me.
Another piece of gameplay thrown at us is when Remy jumps into Linguini's hat and we have to control his hands to prepare food. This stuff is pretty easy, just moving the item into the circle and then pressing a trigger. It gets slightly more complicated later on, but that's kind of it. Not much to see here. We do a lot more tasks in the kitchen, followed by the markets, and then the deserted kitchen with no chefs. I will say the game is constantly finding new ways to make the environments interesting and fun to play as a rat in. The level of detail in all of these areas, not just visually, but also in terms of level design, is pretty great. At one stage, we throw a chili bomb down a pipe to brutally destroy a cat.
You're right, Scoob. We're dealing with one sick son of a...
And finally, we have some more chase levels running away from Chef Skinner. These chases are much more challenging than the others. But for the most part, it actually feels fair. Learning the level, where to run, and the timing of jumps is satisfying. And with so much going on in the environment, it's cool to watch it all unfold when you get it right. It's impressive stuff, and nice to have something that's difficult but feels like it's your fault when you die.
It's tough. It's fair.
After the restaurant is destroyed in the final Chef Skinner chase, we get an image of a newspaper saying Linguini started a new restaurant, and that's the game. There is a lot to like here, but also a lot to hate. It's a frustrating one. If I isolate the game's strengths, the fantastic environments, level design ideas, and willingness to be difficult despite its target demographic, on paper it seems awesome, but it's just let down by too much unreliable garbage and a couple of missing mechanics or poorly executed ones. I want to say I like the game because it's clearly made with effort and I love Ratatouille, but can I really say I love a game where I spent such a large portion of it wishing it wasn't such a f***ing nightmare to play? I don't know.
I'm done! You hear me?